Hello Reborners, my name is Karen and this is Making Dolls with Karen. We're here today to talk about bodies. I had one of my viewers ask me some questions about bodies, so I thought I'd go over some body information with y'all. I didn't get a tape measure. I meant to, but I didn't. But it doesn't matter because I already know the sizes of the bodies. There are two distinct types of bodies. One's going to be for full limbs and the other one's going to be for 3/4 limbs. And they come in different configurations. So depending on where you buy your body and what size body you need for your doll. That's one of the main questions she had is that down underneath on Bountiful Baby's website, it recommended a body. And she wanted to know, is that the proper body or am I just reading it wrong? And they do recommend a body, but you don't have to use that body. There are different styles and different sizes that you can use that will work just as well as the one they recommend. Sometimes the one they recommend is not in stock, and sometimes it's not on sale, so it's $22 or something like that, when they have an alternative that's $11. So that's why we're going over bodies. In the full bodies, the smallest body you can get is the little 15 to 17 inch body. That's this one right here. It's really small, and you can put it on a 15 any doll that's between 15 and 17 inches. Now you always have the option to put a 17-inch doll on a 19-inch body. Some of them actually recommend that you put it on a 19-inch body, but there's no 18-inch body for full limbs. So it'll go from this little tiny one. This one measures, let's see, 7 3/4 inches. The way you measure it is you start up here at the neckline, and you go all the way down to the crotch. That would be this line at the bottom down here where it's sewed together. And you measure it. And it does matter if it's stuffed or not stuffed. I think they recommend you measure them when they're stuffed, and it's going to measure 7 3/4 inches, okay? So this is the tiniest body that you can get from Bountiful Baby for full limbs. So if you have a 15-inch baby or a 16-inch baby, you're going to be using this body. All the way up to a 17-inch baby can take this body. And I have actually put some smaller babies like Pearl on here. I think Pearl is 18 inches, but she's not too big for this body. But the next body up from that is going to be the 19-inch body. Oh, this body, this is the biracial one. It's number 3610. If you want to make a note or something where you can have a list of bodies. This one is the 15 to 17-inch biracial body, and it's number 3710. That's the item number. They also have the regular body, which is this color. The same color as this one. See, there's a little difference in the color. It doesn't matter. Some people even use pattern bodies that are white ones and flannel ones that are made with patterns on them. So it doesn't really matter what color your body is, because you're going to put clothes on the doll anyway, and it's not going to matter. But they do make darker bodies for the biracial dolls. The regular body number is $49.91. It's exactly the same as this one, except it has this color. And this is a Bountiful Baby body, and Bountiful Baby makes excellent bodies. They are, most all of them are gathered. They have a little butt on the back, and they have these little coverings inside the limb area, so that whatever you put in the limb, well, you're going to stuff it anyway. Like, let's take this limb for example. If you were going to put this limb on this body, you'd have like glass at least up to the elbow, and then you'd stuff polyfill up in here, and then when you put it inside this little armhole, well, there's a piece of cloth that's going to cover it too. And so anything that would spill out, which is nothing's really going to, but if it was to, it would be contained in this little sleeve that's in here. See, there's a little covering. Other bodies, I have a body here that came from another company. Let me find it. This is it. And you see, they're open there. And this is an imported body because it has strings. If your body comes with zip ties, it's American made. Because the imported bodies come with strings. You have to take them out. You'll never tie the string tight enough. I can tell you that right now. I tried and tried and tried and tried, and it's just too loose. So you have to take these out and put your own zip ties in. And which, you know, I buy zip ties anyway from a company on eBay called the Little Ever After Company. and they have the best zip ties. They have the great ones that work perfectly, and they are the cheapest you will ever get. I've researched all of this stuff very thoroughly. So if you write down all these links that I'm giving you, you can probably get stuff cheaper than you could get it from other places. Now, the thing about this body is it's not gathered. It does have a little butt, but it's not a good looking one. And this one comes from some other company. I don't remember which one. It may have came with a doll kit that I ordered. Sometimes people get a body, but they get a cheap one like this, which it'll work. See, there's no gathering up here at the top, and it's just cheaper. I don't know any other way to put it. It's just made cheaper, and I don't like them as well, but I do use them when I have them. And I do have this one, and this is a small one. It's about the same size as this one, a little tiny bit bigger. It might be in, like this one's a little bunched up. This is a 17-inch, 15 to 17-inch body, and this one behind it's probably 18 or 19 inches. I don't know, but I didn't measure it. But the 19-inch body measures 9 inches from. Let me get one. Here's one. This is a 19-inch body, and it measures 9 inches from the top to the crotch. And also, again, it has the little coverings where the limbs go, see? Which makes it much, much nicer. It's very well made. It has a nice chest and a nice little butt on the back where your baby looks like it has actual butt cheeks, And this body is the one I use almost exclusively. They make a 20-inch body. I don't think I have one. I don't have one that is for full limbs to show you. But the 20-inch body is only 1/2 of an inch bigger than this one. So if your doll's anywhere between 18 and 20 inches, you can use this body, or you can use the 20-inch body, whichever one's on sale. Now, this body is also a biracial body, and it is number 3201. I'm sorry, 3201. The regular body, which is the lighter color, is going to be number 3650. And this is my go-to body for almost every doll I make, because all the dolls I make are between 18 and 20 inches. So this body works for any of them. Or if this one's not on sale and the 20-inch body is, you can get the 20-inch body. They also have one that they call a 19 to 20-inch body. And it's number 3585. But here's a secret you don't know, and they're not even going to tell you. If you don't read the description thoroughly, you will never know this. It's the same exact size as the 20-inch body. The difference is the price. The 19 to 20-inch body fools you into thinking, oh, I can use that one for a 19-inch baby or a 20-inch baby, which you can. But here's the thing. It's the same as the 20-inch body. And so the 20-inch body is a lot of times on sale for like $11 or $13. And the 19 to 20-inch body is around $22. So, I mean, And there's another thing. There's a 23-inch body, and this is it. It's much bigger. And this one measures 11 inches from neck to crotch, and it's the exact same size as the 25-inch body. But the 25-inch body is for a crawler, like Brooklyn crawling. And the thing about it is the neck is different, and it makes the head go way back like this. So if you put a regular doll on it, their head's going to fall back like that. Now, that would be what you want for a crawling doll, because they'll be in this position and their head needs to be up. But for a regular doll, you don't need it. This is about the biggest body that's going to be full limbs that you can get. They do have a 21-inch body, but it's 10.5 inches. This one's 11 inches. This is the 23-inch body. So, I mean, as you can see, there's little difference in the bodies. Like, you go from 19-inch body is 9 inches. 20-inch body, 9.5 inches. 21-inch body, 10.5 inches. 23-inch body, 11 inches. So just 1 inch bigger. This is like 1 inch bigger half an inch from the 21-inch body. I don't usually get 21-inch bodies. I just go to this one. This one's a lot of times on sale as well. So you have this little bitty one, I use it. Then you have the 19-inch body, I use it. And now if the 20-inch body's cheaper, I get it. And then the 23-inch body, I use it for the bigger dolls like Landon and, you know, just some of the bigger dolls. And then they have the 3/4 bodies. We're gonna go over them a little bit too. Some of the bodies look like this. This is a 3/4 body. You can see there's little sleeves down here for part of their upper part of their legs and the upper part of their arms that you would fill with polyfill. This one is a 20-inch, I believe. The 18-inch bodies look like this. They're not gathered. I call them fat bodies because the doll looks very chubby in them. And sometimes the chest, this is also an imported body because it has strings. But the chest sometimes when you fill it up will be so puffy it puffs up even further out than their chin. And it just looks odd. I don't like this body at all. But if you want an 18-inch body, this is what you're going to have to get because they don't have 18-inch and gathered or 19-inch. The smallest gathered body is going to be the 20-inch. And just like the other bodies, there's little to no difference in the sizes. Like you go on the 18-inch body is 8 inches. The 19-inch body is 9.5 inches. The 20-inch body is also 9.5 inches. And believe it or not, the 21-inch body, it's a fat body like this. Actually says that it is 9.25 inches. That's smaller than the 19-inch body, which is weird. And then they have this body. And they have this in 2 different ways. See, the top has these little cuffs like the 3/4 body that you put the limbs on. But the bottom just has these tiny little things. This is for full limbs. This is what they do for full limbs on a 3/4 body. They give you these little joints, I guess you'd call it. And they're so tiny that they don't count for 3/4 limbs. They're just for regular full limbs. But you can also get them where the top has got the joints and the bottom has the little cuffs. You can get them both ways. And so these are the bodies that you can pretty much get. They have this little tiny body. Where did that little bitty body go? Did I not bring it out? Oh, I didn't bring it out. Anyway, there's one that's 13 inches, and it's for Caleb. He's the only doll that little. And it's 5.5 inches. It's really, really small. And then they have a 17-inch body that's got full 3/4 limbs at the top, and it's completely full legs. It doesn't have the joint. It has leg openings at the bottom. I don't have one to show you. It's 8 inches, and there's gnats in here all over. But anyway, the thing I was trying to say is when you're choosing a body, you don't have to take the body that they recommend. You can kind of just figure it out on your own. Like I said, for any doll that's 18 to 20 inches, this body works very great. It's the 19-inch body. And it's almost always on sale. You might have to take a biracial sometimes, and other times you can get the regular lighter colored body. It doesn't make any difference though. And they're premium bodies, so they're gonna have these little openings that are covered on the inside. And for smaller dolls, let's see, I've used this one on Ever and Pearl and some of the smaller dolls. Bean would take this one, Aspen and Leaf, even though I think Aspen and Leaf calls for a 19-inch body, but I put them on this one because they're preemies and I want them to look little. And they're not too big to put on this one. What you need to look at to decide the size of your doll, I'm going to show you the difference in, say, Pearl. Here's Pearl. Her head's kind of small. And here's Skya, which is, I think, a 19-inch. See the difference in their head? She can take a littler body than this one because they're just smaller to begin with. So you have to keep all those kind of things in consideration when you're choosing your body. You just look at the size of your doll and go with the one you want. You don't always have to take the body that Bountiful Baby suggests. Somebody sitting in an office sat down and compared the stuff and decided this is the body you need. And a lot of times you'll find the body they recommend, they don't even carry it anymore. So especially on the artist kit. So you have to figure out a body anyway. And mostly what you need to figure out is, does it have 3/4 limbs, full limbs, combination limbs? What does it have? And then you can go to picking a body. And the dog's going to bark. Ladybug, please. Anyway, that's what I wanted to cover today because one of my viewers asked me how to pick a body. And so I thought that might be clear as mud now. Y'all might figure out I'm crazy and you don't even know what I'm talking about. But feel free to ask any questions. I almost can tell you just right off the top of my head which body because I've just done so many dolls. Also the eyes. Almost every doll that's 18 to 20 inches is going to take 20 millimeter eyes. There's one or two that might take smaller or larger. But you can almost tell by looking at the opening, the inside socket, you can go 20 millimeters. Not going to fit in there because you're so used to looking at it, you know. And so if I'm in question, I'll lay out like the 20 millimeter and the 18 if I think it's going to be smaller, or I'll lay out the 20. It takes a big doll to take a 22 millimeter eye. And they only come in the even numbers, 18, 20, 22, 24, like that. And 99% of all the eyes I buy are 20 millimeter. I have a few pairs of 18. I think I have one pair of 16. I have one or two pairs of 22 and maybe one pair of 24. And I've not used those ones I have one pair for. So it's unlikely I ever will. I don't like making really, really big dolls or really, really tiny dolls. Because you can't find clothes for them. And people just, you know, they don't seem to want those little teeny dolls. That little 10-inch doll, Emma, and there was 4 of them. Byron was asleep. The other 3 were awake, I think. And they took like 14 millimeter eyes. I made a couple of them, and then they didn't sell good, and I didn't really want to keep dolls that little. And so I ended up giving a couple of them to my granddaughter. And I decided, you know, it's really hard to get the eyes in because their head's so tiny. It's really, really difficult to make dolls that little. And then it's super difficult to find anything to fit them. So I don't get it. But anyway, that's a rundown on bodies. That's all I have on bodies. Is just that you have to just decide for yourself what you want to do. Huh. That's a flaw in that body, it looks like to me. I don't know why there's a seam sewed down the back of this one. Just right in the middle. I've never seen that before. None of the other bodies have it. Huh. That's weird. But anyway, I don't like this body. I bought it because I thought I was going to have to use it for Celeste, because my Celeste had the wrong limbs, and I thought, well, she's got these 3/4 limbs, and this is also not a gathered body. See, the chest is not gathered. This one came probably from Dolls by Sandy. It's got these funny looking tabs on them. I don't even know what they're for. I just tuck them in like that. They're weird. And anyway, and the zip ties, the closures on the zip ties are real fat. Not like these that are real small. See the difference in those? This is this one came from Dolls by Sandy. This one, the rest of these I think came from Bountiful Baby. I'm not sure, except this one. It probably came with a doll kit I ordered from an individual. Sometimes they include these really cheap bodies. But I forgot what I was saying when I got off of track. But anyway, I hope that this helps anybody who has a question about a body. If you stick with my rule, my rule is this: if it's any doll between 18 and 20 inches and it takes full limbs, it's going to get the 19-inch body. Unless, of course, it's too expensive, and then I would get the 20-inch body if I have to. Now, here's a difference in the prices you're going to pay for bodies. A lot of people buy from Dolls by Sandy because they think it's going to be cheaper. But Bountiful Baby, when they have their stuff on sale, they have the best stuff. They have the best magnets. They have the best, I think, the best doll kits. They look more realistic to me than the ones you get from other companies. Now, I have seen a few really, really cute doll kits from other companies, but they're highly, highly expensive, like $100 or something. And I just don't pay that for doll kits. When Bountiful Baby has so many that are reasonably priced. And I buy everything on sale. Now, you can get magnets a lot of places, including Walmart, but you need these really, really strong magnets. They're so strong you can barely get them apart. You have to push with all your might to even get them apart. And this big one goes inside the head, and the little smaller ones go on the pacifiers. Here's a pacifier I made. It has the little small magnet on here and a piece of cloth covering it so that the sharp edges and the roughness of the magnet won't rub the paint off the lips. I don't think it would, but over time it might if people are a little bit rough with it. But you can make these pacifiers, but I've just discovered that you can actually buy some that are already made for you. See, there's no magnet stuck here because the magnet's inside this little part right here. It comes with a magnet. And because the Bountiful Baby magnets are so strong, it will attract even, look at that. Look how strong that magnet is. Look at that. You can't even see what it's doing. It's turning the pacifier over. Look at that. These are really strong magnets. Now, the ones you get from other companies, I had some. I don't remember if someone gave them to me or I ordered them. I probably ordered them to try them because sometimes they're cheaper, but they don't work as good. They're not as strong. And so the pacifier will barely stick to the mouth, and if you just barely move the baby around, it falls off. And you don't want that. You want it to stick real good. So anyway, what I was going to say is these magnets you have to have anyway because you got to put them inside the head. But as far as the pacifiers go, to make this one and to buy this one costs about the same. The difference is you don't have to do any work for this one. And also, you can open this up, this little part, that sticks up right here, and turn the magnet over the other way if you place the magnet differently in the head and you want to use this pacifier instead of that one. Instead of the one that you placed it with, you can just turn the magnet over. And it works really good. I went to Dolls by Sandy and I got their clearance pacifiers. I got this one. And let's see, I got some little honey bugs. These are all honey bugs. I got these little cute ones in a couple different colors. And I got some pink ones like this for girls. And I've used a lot of them up. And I told myself I'm going to continue to buy pacifiers already made because it's just too easy. For the price that you pay for the magnet, the pacifier, the hot glue to put them together, the little pieces of felt you're going to cut in circles, all that, if you consider everything on that, it's almost the same price. It might be 20 or 30 cents higher for the ready-made ones, but you don't have to make them. I've sat down for all day one day and made pacifiers because I use so many of them that I just sat down and made a whole bunch of pacifiers. But there's some things I get at Walmart. There's some things I get from other companies. And there's some things I only get from Bountiful Baby because they have the best. I get all my paint from Bountiful Baby. And I get all my mediums, thinning medium, sealer, all that, thick medium, whatever medium I need. But I do not get their paint thinner. I don't like it. It seems weird and different. I began my painting career by using the paint thinner you get from Walmart. I buy it in a big jug like this. And it's about $17. Yes, it says somewhere on here. It doesn't say odor free, but it says low odor or something. I did read it on here somewhere, but I can't see it right now. But it does stink, it does. So what I do is I open it up. You can take it and put it in one of these little jugs, open it up, put it outside, put it in your garage, put it somewhere where you're not going to be so you won't smell the fumes, and just leave it. And the fumes will evaporate out, and then it won't smell nearly as bad. And I noticed when I was using that Mona Lisa, I could still smell it. And I go, okay, this isn't really odor-free, it's just low odor. And so I decided I'm going to do this trick, and I'm going to use this. It's way, way cheaper. And believe me, if you are making dolls like I make dolls, you have to watch every penny. Every dollar that you spend extra that you don't need to spend is a dollar coming straight out of your pocket. It's coming out of your profits. Because if you make a doll and you're only going to make $20 profit on it, well, maybe you could bump that up to $25 or $30 by watching how you spend your money. I buy everything the cheapest way I can find it. I love these paintbrushes. They're really, really good. And I also like these with the purple handle. They're not as good, but they are good still. And if you want some flat brushes, this set has almost exclusively flat brushes. It does have a few round ones. But this one has the fluffy brushes, the ones with the yellow handle. They're the best, and these are the second best. And there's a link or a way to just get, I got these from Office Supply. They weren't expensive. And I think I got these from Hobby Lobby, and they weren't expensive either. And you just, these are called Royal and Langnickel simulated camel hair, Crafter's Choice. It says it right on the thing here. It says Royal and Langnickel Crafter's Choice, and it comes in a 15-piece set, and each one has got the size of the brush on it, but this is going to fade really quick. It's going to just go away after you use it for a long time, and you won't be able to see this part anymore, but that's what they're called. And these don't have anything on their handle, and they're not Royal and Langnickel. They're just some other brand, but they're also simulated camel hair. Both of these are, and the bristles do not fall out. Now, yes, you're going to get a stray bristle here and there once in a great while, but 99.999% of the time, no bristles fall out of these. I've had brushes where the bristles fell out like crazy, and it's just ridiculous. Anyway, I also get my sponges. I get these sponges from Dolls by Sandy. You get 8 of them in the package. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 of them in the package, and they're $2. And that's a really good buy. I also got these paint sticks from Dolls by Sandy. There's 50 of them in here. And these were 50 cents. And that is an awesome price. I got 2 packages of them. And I got, let me get this down. I get my little jars that I put my paint in, of course, from Walmart. They're little jelly jars or relish jars or something over in the canning section. I get this size and I get this size. I put in this one the ones that I don't use as much because they're smaller and they take up less room. They're approximately the same price. And these I got because I just couldn't hold enough paint for these ones that I use a lot in these tiny little jars. This is a 4 ounce and this is an 8 ounce. And they have lids so they seal, and they're about the best jars you can get. And I love these little Anchor Hocking little measuring cups. I use them for, this one's got just a tiny, tiny bit of paint thinner in it. I don't put much in there because it tends to evaporate and get too dirty to use. And really, you only need to swish your brush. I only really wash this brush, and I don't need to wash it that often. I get these little throwaway brushes like you used to use in kindergarten and first grade with those little watercolor paints where they just had the little round spots of each color in a little tray. Looked like an eyeshadow kind of, but it was paint, and it's very watery. And they give you these little brushes, You get like 30 of them, I think. Maybe 50. I don't know. I don't remember how many. But they cost like $1.50 for the whole pack. So they're well worth it. I call them throwaway brushes. And I use them for glue and sometimes to mix paint and stuff and different things like that I need to use one of these for. And then you just throw them away. And you don't have to worry about, well, I messed up my really good brush. I used to use some of my good brushes, and you can't wash some of them glues out. You just can't. If you need to put glue in the head of your doll for the hair, or glue the eye sockets closed, or if you're using some other glue besides super glue, I'm going to ask you why, for putting in magnets, because it's just too easy. The magnet sticks in 1 minute or less with super glue. And this is the best super glue you can get. Now, Dolls by Sandy sells this, but you can get it at Walmart. Don't be confused by the colors. The blue one is gel, and this red one is just liquid. I bought this one accidentally because I've been buying this one, and then when I looked online at Walmart.com, I was going to order it, and it said, same great glue, different packaging. So, of course, I thought it was this in a different package. And when I got it, I found out it's not. So I've been using this one to glue in my pacifiers, and it works great. You just put a couple drops right on the magnets, glue in the magnets inside the head. You determine which side the glue has to be on. You just put a couple drops on there, hold the pacifier on the face, throw the magnet in, it goes right to the right place, and it sticks almost immediately. Really, really fast. And it holds it super tight. It's not ever going to come out. You can't even take it out. I promise you'll never get it out. I use this one for eyelashes because it's the best glue you can get to put eyelashes on. It's very controllable. It comes out really good out of the nozzle. The nozzle doesn't get clogged up. And it's a gel, so it sticks really well to your toothpick. And I know that Pearl is an open-eyed doll, but I'm going to demonstrate it to you. You just put the tiniest little drop on there, and you just, let's say this was the eyelash. Let's say this little crease under her eye was where you were going to put the eyelash. You just swipe it across it like that, and then you just position the eyelash, and you just press it down with your toothpick, and it's on there. You don't have to worry about it coming off. You can't get that off either. It's not going to come off. So, but you need to position it for the glue dries. And they make, I got these from Dolls by Sandy, a couple of different pairs of eyelash tweezers. They hold the eyelash just right to put it down right on the doll in the right angle. I think this one was $1. And I have 2 or 3 pairs. I've ordered several different ones in case I didn't like one of them. They're up there. I can't really get them down. Yeah, there's a place to buy everything cheaper than you think. If you want pencils, if you need Prisma pencils, you want to go to Jerry's Artorama because they have the cheapest pencils. They have the same exact pencils you're going to get from Bountiful Baby, plus a lot more colors than what they carry. Bountiful Baby has the sandbar brown. They have the light umber, the dark umber. They have chocolate. They have espresso. They have hair colors. They have the beige that you use for blonde hair. And a couple other colors, I don't remember, but they cost $2 and I think 89 cents. It might be 69 cents, but that's too much. $1.35 each pencil at Jerry's Artorama. And if you get 12 pencils, it can be 12 completely different colors. They're $1.25. So you save 10 cents a pencil by buying 12. And I just went on there and bought me some pencils, and I knew about them because I was searching for a set of pencils one time, and I had bought a set, but it's extremely confusing to have that many pencils. All you need is the colors that you use. And I'm going to start with this one. It's my favorite pencil. I do the veins with this one. It's Aquamarine. I do either this color, Crimson Lake. It's a red color. Or I use this one, which is, that's also Crimson Lake. I have another one that's another color. Is this it? No, it seems like I have 3 or 4 Crimson Lakes. Terracotta. I don't use that one. That's not the color I'm looking for. Tuscan Red. One of these, usually I use Crimson Lake. The Tuscan Red is a little dark. So I'm usually using this Crimson Lake for capillaries. This one for veins. Okay. And then I have several purples that I bought to try to crease with. And I didn't like any of them. And I ended up using this pencil that's called Henna. It's a reddish brown color. It looks more like a skin color to me than purple does. Purple just makes awful looking veins, creases to me. And then of course I have the pencils that I normally use for hair. I only use 4 different colors. I use, not black. That's black grape. I don't use that. I use dark umber and light umber. Dark umber and light umber, and sandbar brown and beige. So I put 3 colors for blonde and 3 colors for brown. If I'm using brown, I always start with sandbar brown, and I do the eyebrows with sandbar brown too, because I don't like scary dark eyebrows, so I use the lighter color. And if I'm doing brown, I'll put the sandbar brown, then I'll put light umber, then I'll put dark umber. And if I'm doing the blonde, I use sandbar brown, and I put a little bit of light umber, and then the beige. And that's what I do, because to me, hair isn't one flat color. It's a combination of colors. Anyway, you can get all these pencils, all the pencils you want at Jerry's Artarama. And you can feel free to buy a couple extra colors so you can zero in on the color you like, because they're so cheap there. And I bought my kabukis. I'm not a fan of brushes to actually paint with, but kabukis are a great way to spread your paint. They're no good for actual painting, but they have tight, hard bristles, and you can pound on your doll really hard like this and spread out the colors that you've put on your doll until it's feathered out and looks great. And I bought these. These are the Equate brand kabuki brushes, and they were, I don't remember, they were very cheap. I bought one for each color, and then I don't even use some of them. And they accidentally sent me this brush instead of a kabuki. It's called a buffing foundation brush, and I used to put my sealer on with it, and still to this day it feels like it's wet, because really and truly sealer never dries completely. Anyway, talking about sponges, I talked about these. These are those harder type of sponges. They're dense, very, very dense, like these teardrop shaped ones that people use for makeup. They're too dense to really paint with. I use these for my modeling sponges, but I do not paint with them because they don't let go of the paint good enough. So these are real hard and real dense. These, on the other hand, are wispy and airy and light and very spongy, very soft. I paint with these, but when it comes to dabbing off the extra, you can see I'm using soft ones and dense ones, both. And so these are much cheaper than these. So getting these for $2 is much better buy than getting these. So if I can do some of my pouncing with these cheap ones, I'm going to do that because it saves me money. I'm always looking to save money because every dollar you save is another dollar in your pocket when you are making your doll and selling it. Especially if you're going to be a wheeler and a dealer and go down on your doll prices to get them sold. You want to account for everything that you're using money for to make your doll. Everything. And I guarantee you're missing something. I've sat down and I exhaustively thought of everything that I thought I would use to make a doll. Starting with the kit, the body, everything. I even scientifically figured it out, and I'll tell you how I did it in a minute. How much glass I was using and how much polyfill. And included that. Yes, some dolls are going to take more than others because they're bigger. But in the long run, it evens out because you're not going to make a huge, unless you just really like making toddler dolls or something, big dolls or tiny dolls. You're going to make a combination of dolls that range between around 18 to 20 inches, probably. Some people really like those bigger 22 to 24, maybe 25-inch dolls. I don't. I don't like making them. They don't fit in your oven good. And so I took a whole bucket of glass, and I made these little pouches. They're not all that little, really. I don't know what this weighs. It's three of these medicine bottles right here. Pour it in here and tie it up. Cut the excess off. It's ready to go in a doll. And unless the doll is really tiny, they all get this. And the way I figured it out is I have a baby scale. So what I did is I took one of those little paper bowls. You know, you can buy paper plates. You can also buy little paper bowls. They weigh nothing. They don't even move the scale at all. And I had a kit that was finished. So I put the appropriate amount of glass and stuffing in all the arms and legs and in the head and everything. Made sure the eyes were in, the magnets in, everything that weighs anything was in. Then I put the kit on there, and I put the body on there stuffed. Except I didn't put the glass in it. No, wait a minute, let's see. Yeah, the body wasn't stuffed. I figured the polyfill wouldn't weigh that much. So I put the empty body up there, and I put like an outfit. Because, you know, when you weigh your doll, it's going to be dressed. And then I put the little bowl, and I just started taking this cup and putting glass into the bowl until I got it somewhere between 4 and 5 pounds, about 4.5 pounds. And that's what it came to, was 3 of these. And so that's how I figured out how much glass to put in. And then I set about to use the entire 50-pound bucket to make those little bags. And I made 35 of them. And that took up all but just a teeny little bit. And I just poured it in my other bucket that I used to fill the arms and the legs. And I figured, okay, it's going to even out. Because about the same amount that you put in that little bag it's going to take to fill these arms and legs up. So, so that's how I scientifically determined how much the glass was going to cost. You make 35 dolls, and it takes about 100 pounds of glass because I got 2 50-pound buckets. And no, I didn't use all of the second bucket, the one that was loose. There was a bit left in the bottom. I could have probably made 2 or 3 more dolls, but close enough. So I figured out the price with the tax and the shipping and everything on it, and I divided it by 35 dolls, and that's what I put down for my glass usage. And the same thing with the polyfill. I figured out how many dolls I could make with the 20 pounds I bought. I bought a big 20 pound box. I think it was $69. I'm not sure. But, and I figured out how many, and I divided that out, and I put that down. And then I put down between the entire doll getting painted, from every enhancement layer, every skin layer, using this stuff, using thinning medium and matte varnish and all that stuff to make your doll. I figured up it would be equal to maybe 1 jar of paint. And 1 jar cost about $11, so paint. And then you have to put something down for your paintbrushes, because guess what? You have to buy these. This one's already coming loose. I could probably take this handle right out of here if I wanted to. They're going to come apart, and you're going to have to get more brushes. And they last a good while, they do, but I just put out a menial amount, like 10 cents or something. You know, after I listed everything that I could list separately, I started putting down little miscellaneous expenses like how much paint thinner did I use? $1, you know, something like that. And I grouped all those things together into a miscellaneous supplies, and it came to about, I think, $15. I don't know. So I put that down, and I put down the outfit. The average outfits I buy are around $15 to $17, so I put that down, and I think I just went to the middle, like $16. I tried to be very conservative, and I actually put the price of the kit down, whatever it cost in the body, whatever it cost. I use my invoices to do that, and then you have to put down a price for supplying them with a magnetic pacifier. You're going to forget things if you don't write it down. The big magnet, the little magnet, the pacifier, the glue, the little everything, I figured it cost about $10 to make a pacifier. And if you're using plugs and rings, you better put down $10 for that too, because it's going to cost you that. But your glues, you know, I just put down a menial price for glue between all the glues I use, 3 different kinds usually. You just put it's a tiny bit, you know. But everything does count, everything. All the way down to paper towels and puppy pads, and everything has to count. You have to count everything. And when you get to the bottom of that list, you're going to be staggered by what it is, what the price is. If you're going to supply a second outfit, like a small box opening or something, you got to put that down too. Socks and shoes and diapers and whatever you put on your doll, whatever you use, you got to figure all of that in, because making dolls is an expense. Even if you're buying like I bought this pin to mark my doll's head, you got to include it. Tape, and to tape up your boxes, whatever you pack in the box around the doll to keep it protected. I mean, everything. And when you get to the bottom of that list, you are going to be surprised at how much it really costs to make a doll. And you're going to say, I'm not charging enough. Because if you're not charging over $200 for your doll, let's say you could probably make a tiny profit if you were charging $250 for your doll. If you're charging anything less than that, you're probably losing money. You may not be. It depends on what kind of sale you got your doll on, what kind of sale the bodies were on. Oh yeah, you got to count all your extra zip ties that you have to buy, because believe it or not, you're going to end up cutting some zip ties because, well, you're going to make mistakes. And you also have to buy things like, if you're going to strip a doll, you're going to need acetone. Just whatever you buy is an expense to making dolls. And eyes, eyelashes, hair, needles. I mean, it's never ending. If you buy quality hair, it's going to cost more than if you buy cheap hair. But I mean, once you consider every single thing, like I bought this. I mean, you can't just put this down on every kit, but it costs, I think I paid $14, $17, I don't remember, $17, I think, for it. And then there's glue sticks and my hot glue gun usage. You got to just put down some menial little charge, because sooner or later those things are going to wear out and you're going to have to buy something else. Your NuWave oven, the use of your NuWave oven is going to run your electric bill a little higher. And whatever you line it with is going to get dirty and tattery looking. You're going to want a new liner. All different things. There's so many different things. Storage things to store things in. It just doesn't end. There's just too many things. Toothpicks, swabs, everything. I just can't name everything. Exodus oil, I buy this. It's very, very, very good and helpful, and you need it. And I don't know, I bought this little spatula set. I didn't know they were this little, but they're cute. They scrape out the paint. They're all different configurations. Every one of them's different. That one looks like a knife. Some of them just look like this. I mean, they're all different sizes and shapes. And to get down in your jars and scrape out every little bit of paint that's in there, because pennies count. My mother used to say, you watch the pennies, dollars will watch themselves. It'll start adding up. You take care of, every little penny counts. See a penny, pick it up. Yep. Used to be a saying, all the day you'll have good luck. But anyway, that's all I have. I really wanted to talk about the bodies. I didn't really want to go into all this other stuff, but we did. But anyway, I might ask everybody to please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and happy reborning.